Freddan and I had talked about winter camping. General loose talk mostly that we wanted to try out our hot tent in the winter. It was early February. "How about tomorrow?" someone said. "All right, pick me up at 10, said the other. Said and done. The next morning we loaded up Dad's trailer and off we went on a more or less spontaneous whim. Freddan is a member of a hunting party with the hunting rights of a forest about an hour's drive away. So we thought the yard of an old forester's hut on the hunting ground would be a good flat spot to put up the tent. Heading west, we started on the main roads, almost missed the first exit and definitely missed the second. We had to take a significant detour, of course, but it was a rather pleasant route through smaller and smaller villages with the typical red houses with white corners on smaller and smaller roads. The last leg of the trip is more of a forest trail than a road, but the snow wasn't that deep, so it was no problem getting there. We arrived at about late noon, so we thought it was a good idea to start the fire right away and put on some coffee to brew while we unloaded the trailer and raised the tent. Okay, now we have arrived at the destination and Freddan has just lit the first fire because we want to make some coffee. It's windy as hell. I hope the sound's okay. We have 2 crates with stoves, one camping stove and the cast iron stove that we're gonna test in winter conditions outside, live for the first time. We have a pop-up tent, a murika of course, some chairs, and in this hidden here we have actually some carpets because we want to have it cozy indoors in the warm tent. As it turned out, we didn't only miss the exit, we missed some equipment too. But I think I'll leave that to a separate video actually. The weather was dull and to be honest, the location wasn't chosen for the scenery. Basically a flat yard surface next to a barn with a neighboring rather boring clear cutting around it. It didn't offer much of a view, but that wasn't the point this time. And besides, it gets dark early in the afternoon anyway, pitch black at around 4:30 or something. We went out for some peace and quiet and to try out the tent in winter conditions. That was the main purpose. Already late noon or early afternoon, we started preparing lunch. A spicy pasta with sausage in a tomato-based sauce with plenty of cayenne pepper and thyme. With the pot cooking on the fire, it's nice just to be out, relaxing by the fire and just being for a while. Letting things take its time. Nice view or not, actually. After lunch, we just kept cooking, preparing the meal for the evening before it got totally dark outside. It was a slow-cooked chili stew made from chuck steak and smoked side pork. Some carrots, some celeriac, what we would call root celery, garlic, cinnamon. I think we poured some coffee and beer into it as well. While the meat was slowly simmering in the pot, we lit up the stove and prepared to move inside the tent. As I mentioned before, we forgot to bring a lot of things, but we made the best out of what we had and set ourselves up really comfortable with the stove case as a small table between the chairs.
Finally getting some warmth in here.
Oh, that's the camera. Cool.
It looks like someone's eating it once already. That's fantastic.
A real table and a little bit more upright chairs would have been practical, but it worked okay to balance the plate in the knee or hand holding it, since we had the crate to put down the glasses on. Flat and level surfaces to put things down on is definitely important for the comfort and to be able to keep it tidy and nice. You don't want to have things on the floor that you turn over when you move inside the tent. We've landed in that conclusion every time so far, and we want to find a smart multi-purpose solution to fill this gap. So we're all ears if anyone have any input or good ideas to give us on that issue.
Yeah, this is life. This is life. Yeah, it is. And the weather outside, it's windy, it's cold, it's dark. And in here...
We could show you, but you wouldn't see anything.
No, it's completely black. I mean, it's black like tar.
It's the dark kind of black.
Yeah.
You know?
You really appreciate the contrast when it's only a thin canvas between your comfortable environment and freeze to death conditions. Things get real somehow.
But we'll have to stop filming soon because I can feel the wine kicking in.
Before we went to bed, we filled the stove up to make it last the whole night. I'll make a separate video on the stove topic because I think it deserves a story of its own. There's a lot of things we need to learn, figure out and discuss about heating and stoves and things like that. The following day started with some coffee, of course. Heating the water for the coffee took longer time than we expected actually, but tasted all the better after the eager wait. Mom and Dad were curious about how the trip went. And to be honest, they were looking for an excuse to venture out for a while. So they took the 90-minute one-way drive to join us for brunch. Fried sausage, bacon and eggs on crispy grilled bread with strong cheese. Absolutely awesome. Warm food tastes much better outside in cold weather. I don't know why, but it's true. So much better. As you can see, Mom sported her warm and practical ski suit, which was top of the line of a hot fashion brand in the 90s when she was still hitting the slopes, but may have lost some of its high fashion status since then. Isn't she absolutely adorable, my old mom? And Dad, well, Dad is Dad. Anyway, they were both warm and comfortable and enjoyed the picnic. It was great to see them, and we had a good time chit-chatting around the fire for at least 2 hours. Aren't they a lovely couple? Despite dull, windy and cold weather and a rather mediocre view, we were comfortable and had a really good time on this little trip. We gained some experience, got to test some of the things we were curious about, and we have lots of lessons learned to share in future videos. And of course, you're more than welcome to check them out as well if you want.